crazy. So, ooh, pretty pictures.
Yeah, so y'all probably recognize this from one of my Instagram reels. I made a first sergeant retirement plaque. Now, mind you, yes, retirement plaque doesn't make sense, right? Well, very simple person did not want a shadow box, and they honored that, and they got him something nice, something simple. But, I mean, it was definitely retirement worthy, I feel. But, okay, so for this particular piece, it does have a lot of line cuts, a lot of internal layers that would need to be cut, specifically the diamonds and the stripes. And then you would hope that you don't get the outside to cut first, because if that happens, that could actually mess up your shapes on the inside. So for most folks that have Lightburn and start with Lightburn, thought I heard my kid, sorry. Start with Lightburn. This should typically be set as a default, but if for some odd reason you're not getting the cuts to start in the middle of your piece, or at least in one of the inside shapes and then moving outwards, there is a spot you can go to, and this is actually this little button right here. So I didn't even realize this existed until one day I accidentally clicked it and was like, oh, what's this? So there's my kid. He is here. He's sneaking up on me. Good night, buddy. Night, buddy. Love you.
Like a ninja.
I know, right? I heard him, didn't see him, and then I saw him creeping in the corner of my camera. Little creeper. So you click this optimize settings button here, and it actually pulls up your order of which the layers will be cut. Now you can do group, layer, priority, and just to go through this real quick. So layer, that's as simple as it sounds. So let's say you have multiple colors, which I'll show on the second file once I pull that up. But you could have multiple colors, and it'll actually order it by layer. Then you can do order by priority, which is set by these settings down here, or you can do order by group. And typically, if let's say if I were to group these stripes over here and they were, and the layers all black, it'll cut this group first, it'll cut the next group, etc. So the one setting that you would want to actually have put in is this cut inner shapes first. That is honestly the easiest way to go about this, is making sure that setting is set, and for some reason the inner stuff isn't being cut first. So that's way number one. Number two is on this one. So this one I went ahead and I put, which I actually need to share that screen, which is weird. Hey, get out of here, Riverside thing. I gotta go and reshare the window, so stand by 2 seconds. Like I've never done this before. All right, and then there it is. Okay, so multiple colors, and you'll notice there's a crap ton of them, and they're all aligned. I didn't set any of the settings, so the one thing that's, I would say, a downside about this particular one is that you have to set all these to the same parameters, which, I mean, it's time consuming, yes, but it could save you a headache later. But I've also noticed that if I have multiple layers and let's say this one right here doesn't cut out all the way, I could turn all the other layers off and then recut that layer. So that way I don't have to go back and redo the whole thing. But so like I was telling you earlier with the optimized settings, is they order by layer or priority. Well, in this case, it would be by layer. So in the middle, or the outside one, I have black. That's my outline. So I actually turned that one off because I don't want it to cut that one at all, because that's like the border of the wood. So that's how I get most of my files made, is I'll do like an outside border for what the plaque's going to be in the back, and then I'll build the stuff on the inside of it. But then you got this blue, this red, and then all the different colors. Well, you'll notice that on the inside you got the red, the blue, then it goes to pink, gold, green, etc. But then if you notice this space right here is just completely missing. Well, I don't want it to etch or even see this thing to think it's going to etch, but there's actually a logo that goes there. And that's for later when I need it. So those are the different ways you can actually cut different layers. One way is obviously faster than the other, but this way to me does have a pro, and that is being able to turn off different layers and recut certain layers if you needed to, or if you don't want to see them at all. Because I could just sit here and I can go, yeah, I don't want to see any of these. And I can just mess around with this or put something else there. So that's just some different ways you can do that. I know it's a fairly simple tip of the week, but for something that we're doing for the first time, I figured it would be something good to do, especially because it was a listener request by Jen. So that's the how-to on how to do your layers in the order that you want to do them. If you know any other ways, go ahead and shoot us a message, and we can always edit or add information. Because,
and if you are listening